I heard a story recently about a girl named Grace. Honestly, it stayed with me.
What happened to her?
It's a long story, but it has a happy ending.
Kindly subscribe if you haven't. Thank you.
She was the first child. From a young age, her mom made her responsible for everything, raising her younger siblings, sacrificing school opportunities, even giving up her own dreams.
That sounds very familiar household. That's heartbreaking. Imagine pouring your whole life into people only to be treated like you owe them more.
And the dad? He didn't fully agree, but he stayed quiet, just supported the mom's decisions from the sidelines.
That silence is part of the problem. Because now Grace didn't just lose her childhood, she lost her voice too.
But let's be honest, why do some mothers do this to their first child?
That silence is part of the problem. Because now Grace didn't just lose her childhood, she lost her voice too.
But let's be honest, why do some mothers do this to their first child?
Sometimes it comes from struggle, limited resources. The mindset is, we all have to survive, and the oldest must lead.
So it's not always wickedness?
Not always. Some mothers believe they're building strength, responsibility, leadership, preparing the firstborn for life.
And to be fair, there are advantages, right?
Exactly, but sometimes too strong, to the point where nobody checks if they're okay.
But the disadvantages, they're heavy.
Very heavy. Loss of identity.
Exactly, it's a real concern.
Definitely. Emotional burnout. Resentment. Imagine watching your siblings live freely while you were forced to grow up too fast.
And the worst part?
Yes, because damage might furly. It can not loved, used. Yes, because deep down, Grace might feel used. Not loved, used.
So let's flip it. Why shouldn't firstborns accept everything thrown at them?
Because being born first is not a life sentence. It's not a contract that says you must suffer for everyone else or you must be second parent.
That's powerful.
Setting boundaries is not disrespect. Saying, I can't do this is not selfish. It's self-preservation.
But in many homes, that's seen as rebellion.
Exactly, but we have to shift that mindset. True, but think about it. If Grace had spoken up earlier, maybe her life would have turned out differently.
So you're saying silence can be dangerous?
Very. When you keep saying yes to everything, people assume you don't have limits.
What would you say to someone like Grace today?
I tell Grace to start small. Say no to one thing and see how it feels. I'd say, it's not too late to choose yourself. Heal.
Forgive if you can, but don't go back to being the version of you that was constantly sacrificed. And to parents?
Let your children be children. Don't turn your firstborn into a second parent. Support them. Don't replace yourself with them.
This story really makes you think. Why'd you rough?
Yeah, because there are so many Grace out there, smiling on the outside, but carrying silent pain.
And maybe it's time we start having these conversations more openly.
Absolutely, because strength shouldn't come from suffering alone. Kindly subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Are you a firstborn? Girl or boy? Can you share your experience growing up below in the comments section?